Hi, in this video we are going to discuss the point regarding the interrupts and vector table of 8086 microprocessor. So first of all, what is the interrupt? It is a process of disturbance of the normal program execution of the processor to carry out a specific task is referred as an interrupt. The interrupt is initialized by a signal generated by either external device or internal module of the processor. The processor services it by executing the subroutine program, which is also called as ISR. There are three different sources for interrupt occurs in the processor. Those are nothing but the hardware interrupts, software interrupts, and exceptional. These are the three sources basically. The hardware interrupts are occurred due to the external signal generated by the external devices on the pin of the microprocessor, namely NMI and INTR. Next is software interrupts. There are total 256 software interrupts and they are generated by the internal signal of the processor, and those interrupts are nothing but INT0 to INT255. Last is exceptional interrupt. This is caused again due to the internal signal generated by the processor, and we can say that the one of the example, that is if any number is divided by 0, then answer is definitely infinite, so this cannot be generated by the processor. So this is the one of the example of exceptional interrupt. There are two technique of data transfer. One is called as pooling technique and another is called as the interrupt technique. Actually, in the pooling technique, the processor has to periodically check the status of the external device and it has to perform the data transfer only when device is ready. And in case of the interrupt technique, the processor gives the service to the external device only when it is requested by sending the appropriate signal. So in pooling technique, processor wastes its time for transferring the data to the external device. Okay. Next, we are going to discuss about what happens when there is a interrupt is occurred while executing the normal program by the processor. This figure indicate the flow of the interrupt response. So when microprocessor receives an interrupt via the pin INTR and NMI of the processor, first of all it will complete the current instruction and it will stop the executing the current normal program. Then after that, processor save the status of a different registers. For example, it first push the contents of CS and IP. So this CS and IP basically give the return address of the program. It will store the CS and IP as well as the flag register, contents of the flag register into the stack, as well as it will reset the IF and TF, that is interrupt flag and trap flag. So it will reset the interrupt flag for there is a no another non-maskable interrupt will occur while executing or while giving the service to the current external device. So that's why it will receive the IF and TF, as well as the same time it will fetch the address of the ISR. So in this figure, after fetching the address of the ISR, it will goes to the that particular process. So after going to that particular process, it will execute the, we can say that the subrouting, in order to perform the specific task requested by the interrupt. Then after completion of the service, the CPU pop off, or we can say that the retrieve all the values which is already stored in the stack into the CPU by executing the instruction, and this instruction is called as irate. That is irate. Okay, so by executing the irate instruction, it will come back, that is it will pop off all the values into the CPU, and then the processor resume the normal program execution from the point where it was already interrupted before occurring the interrupt. So this is the actually the steps while interrupt is occurred in the processor. The next part is, that is a interrupt table. So actually what is meant by the interrupt table? Actually interrupt table is the link between the type of interrupt and what kind of the ISR, that is what kind of service has to be given to the external device. So this idea is available in the interrupt table. Basically there are the total 256 type of interrupt. Okay, and for each type of interrupt there is a 4 bytes are reserved, or it will show the 4 bytes of its registers. We can say that it is a double word pointer format. So why this double word pointer format, and what is the information available in this double word format? So in the higher address word, it contains the base address of the segment containing the ISR. It means that in the higher address word contain the address of the CS, basically the core segment. Actually this is not a segment register value which is stored in the stack before starting the ISR, but actually this is the new value of code segment from where it get the address of the ISR. So this is the first value, that is called as the base address, which is available in the higher address word. In the lower address word, it contains the offset. You can observe in the figure also. So upper address, that is upper higher word, it contains the base address and it is related to the new CS. Okay, and the lower one, it contains the offset address and it is nothing but the new IP. So combination of the CS and IP will give us the new, actually the new address of, you can say that the new address of the ISR. It will form the new physical, we can say that the new physical address of the ISR. Okay, so this is the way in which we can obtain the physical address of the ISR. So we have to total 256 interrupts, and each interrupt require the total 4 bytes. That is a 2 double word, so that's why it is a 4 bytes. So total this interrupt table occupy 1024 bytes of the memory space. Total it will occupy the 1024 of the memory space, right? Then you can observe that in the interrupt table it is categorized into the different three parts. One is related to the dedicated interrupts, another category is reserved interrupts, and third one is the available interrupts. We will discuss one by one. So there are different four kind of dedicated interrupts, right? So INT0, that is a type 1, it is also called as INT0, INT1, INT2 and INT3. So type 0, that is INT0, it is related to divide error. It means whenever there is a division by 0, this interrupt will occurs. The next part is how processor will obtain the interrupt vector location. So in general, to find out the interrupt vector location, you have to just multiply by 4 with the interrupt number, and you have to calculate its hexadecimal value. For example, this is the interrupt type 0, this is a 0 into 4, that is the answer is a 0, hexadecimal also 0. So whenever the type 0 is interrupt is occurred, processor goes to the 000h location, so there it get the ISR value, that is address of the ISR, and it will give the service to it. So in this way it will find the interrupt vector location of the all kind of interrupts. Second category is INT0, 1, that is a type 1. So this is called as the single step interrupt. So in this, if this INT1 is executed, the microprocessor put in the single step mode. Means microprocessor pause after executing the every one instruction, right? And its interrupt vector location is 1 into 4, that is a 004h. Similarly for a remaining two. So we are talking about the second kind of interrupt, that is a INT2. So this is a non-maskable. Non-maskable means processor can't ignore once it is occurred, right? So in detail we are going to discuss about the maskable and non-maskable interrupts in last slide, or after completion of the vector table. Then fourth category, that is the INT3. INT3 is a breakpoint interrupt. Actually, by it is indicated as a breakpoint interrupt. So meaning is that this interrupt is used to cause a breakpoint in a program, and this is used in a big program for a debugging purpose, right? Next one is the interrupt 4, and it is related to the overflow interrupt. Then this interrupt is occurs when there is a overflow flag is set in the operation, that is either arithmetic or logical operation performed by the processor. So this is a related to the dedicated kind of interrupt. Then next one is a reserve interrupts. So there are total 27 reserve interrupts, and these interrupts not used by the mm, normal processor. It is a reserve for the Intel to be used in the higher processors like your 80286, 386 and Pentium, and they are not available for a user. Then next is available interrupts. Actually, these are the user defined. You can say that it is a they are the software interrupts. That is from INT 32 to 225. You can see here INT 32 to 225. They are the available interrupts. The ISR for these interrupts are written by the user to the to service various user defined conditions. Okay, so this is a whole about the interrupt table. Now we are going to discuss the last point related to the hardware interrupts. There are the two hardware interrupts. One is called as the maskable, that is NMI, sorry, non-maskable, that is NMI, and another is the maskable, which is nothing but the INTR. So first we are talking about the NMI, non-maskable input. It is a age triggered as well as it has the highest priority, and the vector location it is obtained from the calculation 2 into 4, that is 0008h, by calculating the hexadecimal equivalent of that is 2 into 4. The next one is the maskable, that is INTR. It is a level triggered and it has a very less priority as compared to the NMI. Basically, this is it is a non-vectored interrupts. That's why processor required the help of the some external controller to find out the location of the that such kind of interrupts. So controllers are nothing but the programmer interrupt controller. So once such kind of interrupt is occurs, first of all, this interrupt, the processor will execute the two pulses. One pulse is for calculating the vector number, that is the vector number is calculated by the interrupting device, and this device is sent this number to the processor. So these are the two different kind of pulses. First of all, it will generate. Then 8086 has to be take the help of the PIC to accept the request from the external device, that is for calculation of the vector location. Now microprocessor, same way microprocessor will multiply the vector number by 4 and goes to the corresponding location in the interrupt vector table to find out the ISR, and it will provide the service to it. So there is the last 2 points are very important, that is how this kind of interrupt, that is INTR, will be masked as well as unmasked. It is a mask by making the interrupt flag is 0 with the instruction, that is a CLI. Similarly, it can be unmasked by making interrupt flag is equal to 1 with the help of software interrupt called as the str. This is the whole about the vector and interrupt and interrupt table. Thank you.